we still, let me see.
Looks good to me.
All right, guys. So process, there's a couple different ways we can go through it. And I'm wondering if it would be beneficial for you guys to have me go through the process of the home buying consult that I do, because, and we'll also touch on the home buying process. And I'm wondering if it would be beneficial for you guys to hear how I host my home buyer seminars right now. What do you guys think?
That would be great.
Amazing. Poor Owen is stuck in the room alone with me, and I just shut the door on him. So if you hear screaming and yelling, it's just Owen trying to get out of the room.
Have it dialed up and ready.
Yeah, he's actually like looking ready to go. Okay, so a couple of things. What I do is I always go through a buyer consultation. My buyer consultations have morphed a little bit over the years, and that's just dependent on my knowledge of the buyer. An example of that would be I met with a past client last night. I worked with them. I wanted to know what was important to them. So what we found, or what I'm finding, is in this market, you can either choose to unmute yourself or drop a note to me, but how many of you are finding that your buyers are changing their mind at a higher rate than what they were previously? Raise your hand if your camera's on, or drop me a note, because one of the things, and I'll tell you this, so I closed 50 buyers last year, closed 50. I'm on track to do 50 again this year. And let me just take a big deep breath, because let's talk about something here. In 2018, our market started to shift. How many of you were licensed in 2018? Oh, Gina.
I don't know. I'm thinking I was. I'm trying to think back. Either 2018 or 2019. I think I just might have had it. I didn't do much my first year, and then the last 2 years I've been busier. So.
Okay, Gina, we haven't ever met before. I know
No.
Jamie, love Jamie. I know Christine, I love Christine, and Owen. I mean, we're best friends because we're stuck in a room together. So we got all that. You got licensed 2018. So Jamie, were you licensed in 2018?
I believe it was the end of 2018, like September of 2018.
I'm gonna paint this little story for you guys, because it was unreal. So look at us. I didn't even go to that board again. I'm not. Okay, here's what happened. It was 2018, it was February. I was sitting in family reunion. I'm writing these offers, and I'm like, multiple offers? Okay, weird, it's February. So our tides had started to switch in 2018. Nobody was talking about it. The news hadn't picked it up. Buyers weren't quite aware of it yet. And we were in this conundrum of houses selling like they are now and the oddities were different. So now we're dealing with 24 offers in 2 hours, right? Back then, what you were dealing with would be 3 offers. But people didn't know how to compete in multiple offers because they were few and far between. So our process, I tell you that to build to a little bit, our processes have shifted and changed. What I have not. So I've been licensed. I wish Lori was on here. If you message Lori, she'd tell you. I've probably been licensed for 10 years, give or take. I don't really know. It could be 9. It could be 11. It could be 8, but I've been licensed for a minute. I started this process immediately. I have always closed a minimum of 22 buyers, minimum 22. It could be 24. I don't know. But I've always closed a minimum of 20 plus buyers, always. Part of it is when you know what somebody's looking for, you can help them at a higher rate. Would you agree? Yeah, perfect. I go through this whole little slide deck I talk to them. What you really want people to know is, what are you going to do for them? I take a consultative approach. I'm not a salesperson. I do not believe it is my job to go through and sell them a house. We're going to consult through it. You want to know how to get referrals? Be a consultative resource. Give them information. Find out what's important to them. When you do that, you will gain referrals. I'll give this blue sheet to Owen because he's here. But right on my blue sheet, it's our blue sheet, it's our buyer sheet. Okay, now I'm warming up because I'm walking around. You guys, if you are home, please put on a blanket and enjoy your warmth, because Owen and I are sitting in here in our winter jackets because we're slightly chilly. So, okay, Owen, if I need you to move that camera for me so that it hits this one, can you? You guys, we can all clap for Owen. He's so helpful. Okay. All right, let's see. I go through Ford, okay, family, occupation, recreation, and dream. Ford, family, occupation, recreation, and dream. Where do they work? What do they want to do for fun? What is their dream? Family. Number of people in the house. Who's moving? We want to know all this information. Okay, here's why. And I'm going to pause because I see we have more people joining us. Hi, everyone. If you're here and you're new and you want specific things for us to chat about, please put it in the chat box. My name's Holly Stomberg, and I want to make sure you guys get value from this class. So at any point for anyone who's here, let me know if you want me to cover something else. Our family, number of people, who's making the move with them? What does that tell us?
The size of house they were looking for?
Oh my gosh, Jamie. Okay. At the end of this, I swear I'm going to give out stars. The size of house they're looking for. And what else? Do they have a tenant moving with them? Is mom moving with them? Is grandma moving with them? Is it a multi-generational home that's going to require a setup that's going to look different than if they're all a nuclear family, right? So, Owen, if you want to go in on a house with 5 buddies, you might want your own bathroom. Mm-hmm. You could do that, but if I don't know that as your agent, is there a potential that I'm going to show you houses that don't work for you?
For sure. For
sure. Ask who's making the move with them. What else does family tell you? How many decision makers there are? If you're moving with 5 buddies and they're all throwing money into the kitty for you to buy the house, they all have decision-making power. Who's making the move? The size of house. Jamie, isn't it true that the size of house could also determine the price point they're in, and you could help educate them on numerous things that come with that? Yeah. Occupation. You guys, remember when it wasn't 2020? Anybody? I don't either. Okay. So here's what's happened. Occupation used to be highly important to people. I want to live by where I work. I don't want to spend the time behind my windshield. Do you know how many people I moved because they wanted to get closer to work? A lot. Do you know how many people I've moved now that want a home office? If you know what they do and where they do it, can you help them better? 100%. Occupation has become less important to buyers to be close to work because they work from home. I helped a buyer this past year. They were looking from Red Wing to Duluth. Friends, let's just pump the brakes real quick. That's different than any other year past because buyers would naturally select geographic locations that were convenient. Now everywhere's convenient because they're remote workers. It's things to think about. So what's become more important is recreation. What do they do for fun? What do they do for fun? What do they want to be near? What do they want to be near? It's another way to get referrals. I have a past client, excuse me, he was a mountain biker. He was looking at houses and all the mountain bike trails were 20, 30 minutes from his house. He's like, I don't know, I kind of want to be able to just go out and ride. Okay, cool. All the trails are away from your house. I ended up plopping the set of mountain bike trails in his backyard. Did that take a little bit of research? Yeah. Was it intentional? Yeah. But now do you know what he tells me? I tell all my friends about you because you knew what was important to me. What do they want to do? What do they want to do? Dreams. Okay. I've had people say, they'll ask somebody, they'll be like, what's your dream? That's good. Get to know them. I ask it like, what's your goal and what's your dream with this house? What am I doing? I'm forecasting when they might want to be making a move again. Are they buying this for an Airbnb? Are they buying this so that they can start their portfolio? Are they buying this to start their family? What's important to them about this house? If you've been in our Facebook group for the office, you've probably seen my post about clients that are looking for a place with that will allow chickens. How do you think I got there? Find out what's important to them. Forward. Give them information. Tell them what our market's doing. What is our market doing? What are you seeing? Set the expectation up front. Go through it. Talk to them about what they can expect in the process. I have 100% success rate of negotiating for the sellers to pay my commission. Talk to them about what's going on. Talk to them about what you'll do to help them find houses. How are you going to support them? Why do they need to call you? The importance of a pre-approval. If they're not pre-approved, can you get their offer accepted? Painful story. Oh, it was so painful. I asked a past client if they were approved. They were like, we're working on it. Cool. Took them out to see a house. They didn't think it would sell. Within a week, it was gone. And we had the conversation of, you need to be approved. And they were like, we don't understand the importance. We know we're going to get approved. It's not about knowing if you'll be approved. You'll be approved, you'll be approved, you'll be approved, right? But it is about knowing, does it fit your financial game plan? So get them approved, guys. Don't take them out without them being approved. I set them up for what to expect. We're only going to look at the best of the best. I'm going to save you time and you energy because we're only going to look at the best of the best. And this isn't a joke. On average, I do show 6 or less homes before they make a buying decision. Last year, it was 3. Last year, it was 3. Time off of work was less of a thing last year. It's becoming more of a thing this year because so many people were working remotely. Now we're seeing that go away a little bit. or the flexibility with remote. So you want to set that standard up front. Talk to them about new construction. Talk to them about for sale by owner. Who are they calling? Why are they calling you? What are you going to do for them? Set yourself up to win. Talk to them about the process. What can they expect? What are you going to negotiate with your offer? Terms, price, and closing date. Talk to them about what that looks like. Earnest money. It's going to be cashed. You can submit it electronically. You can do it by a cashier's check or a personal check. Your home inspection is paid for by the buyer at the buyer's expense. You're not asking the seller to do that. What do you do during a home inspection? You can do radon, you can do well, you can do septic, you can do a lead-based inspection. You can do a sewer line inspection. Be their resource. What happens when they're reviewing HOA docs? How much time do they have? Use it as a strategy to get your offers accepted. You have 10 days. You can waive that down to 3. Have the conversation up front. My appraisal language needs to change. I bet you guys all see that and you're like, oh, Holly, you're right. And I know it does not need to appraise. They have to be able to collateralize it. It's a language I'm using now because if you want to do an appraisal bridge or gap coverage or any sort of guarantee, and you need your buyer to understand that, you need to explain it to them in a manner that will make sense. Has to collateralize. Talk to them about what you do when you do a home inspection. Home inspections are for safety, health, hazard items. When you are walking through a house with a buyer, you point out, you are not a home inspector, you are not an electrician, you are not a plumber. You are not licensed in those things unless you are, then great. But I am not. I make sure they're aware I'm not that person. However, I don't shy away from pointing out a broken window. By the way, if you have an FHA buyer, could that be an issue in an appraisal? Yeah. Don't you want to know what your hurdles and your steps and everything you're going to have to go through could be? I do. I want to prepare my buyers for everything that could be coming. Hey, I've seen this. We're going to do this. Prepare them. Prepare. Inspections is often the last time a buyer can get into the house because sellers are packing. Sellers don't want somebody coming back into their house, or does it, true or false, it can make a seller feel nervous. Why do they need to see the house again? They're excited. They're going to cancel. They're going to cancel. They're not going to cancel. I prepare my buyers to take their measurements and get paint samples and do all of that during the inspection period, because it makes it a better transaction for them. They're not surprised when they can't get back into the house. We talk about it. Tell them what to expect after a home inspection. They're going to work with their lender. They're going to get utilities switched and they're going to start packing their moving boxes. We go through what they need for closing, what to expect. We talk about any questions and next steps, and I have them rate where they are in motivation. Where are they? Are they an A buyer? An A buyer is 3 months or less. B buyer is 3 to 6. And C buyers is 6+. At any given time, I can carry up to 20 buyers. Do you think it's important for me to know where their motivation is? Yeah, because I don't want my C buyers to feel like I'm harassing them to move. I don't want my A buyers to feel like I'm forgetting about them. Set your standards. Set yourself to win. Set them to win. I talk about referrals. Talk about referrals right away. I put in there, we go through our promise to our clients, what we're gonna do for them, how it will serve them, what to inform us on if it's not serving them. We go through all of it. We go through it all up front and right away. I go through the slideshow, that presentation, electronically. A majority of my consults are done electronically now. So I do it in person or electronically, and I do them at all different times. So, process. Any questions on the process? Yay, nay?
Not so far.
Not so far, okay. I'm gonna share one more thing before we tie that up. Okay. Whoop.
Hey, Holly, I have a question. This is Christine. I have a question about how you categorize your buyers.
Mhm.
How do you fit them into the different groups? Is it based on timeline or what does that process look like for you?
It's based on their motivation and ability to move. So I have a buyer right now. I met with them yesterday. They're looking to make a move in the next 18 months. We talk about their motivation. Where are they? Are they approved? Do they have a place to sell? Once you figure out what they're looking for and what their timeline is, you can help guide them on where they would fall. And the reason I use this, Christine, is so that it sets an expectation of when do we go out and look at houses? Because my buyers who want to buy in 18 months, that's phenomenal, and I want to help them do that. But I also want to make sure they're aware the house is on the market right now, won't be on the market when they're ready to buy.
Right. So what do you do with someone like 4 to 6 months out? Are you showing them houses at that point?
No, if they're 4 to 6 months out, there's no reason to be showing them a house right now.
Yeah.
They can't perform.
Mhm.
But it requires a conversation up front. How long are closings? From the point you look at a house, you have 30 to 60 days with a sweet spot at about 45. Now
Mhm.
there's some buyers, right, Christine? There's some buyers or sellers who require some additional time. So those are houses that could make sense to show them. Like we have a seller right now that doesn't want to sell until middle of April. Well, that could work for those buyers. So you shift and you filter and you do all that for them. But if you take a buyer out right now to look at houses and then your market changes, because it will, in 4 months, and then they're ready and they're like, but I like that house you showed me 2 months ago when I couldn't do anything about it. It makes your job harder.
Mhm.
And you're setting them up to disappoint them, in my opinion. They feel, when I've done that in the past, buyers feel let down. They feel like they missed an opportunity, but it wasn't an opportunity because they weren't ready.
Mhm. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions on process, or can we cross process off? That's good. Okay. All right. So I'm crossing process off. We're going to referrals. How I get referrals, when you're out showing houses to a buyer, I bring up frequently and regularly. I'm like, since you've started to look at houses, are you finding more people that are interested in buying? Do you know what they say? Always. Yeah, my buddy's thinking about looking. Oh my gosh. Is your buddy fun like you are? Yeah. I mean, it's not as fun. They never are. Well, we want to help them. How can we help them? Would it be helpful to go through the buying process with them? I ask my buyers when I'm with them. 80% of my business was past client referrals and people using us again. When you add value to somebody, and by value, I mean, if you go through Ford, if you help them with your timeline, if you help them win, they want to help you win. It's symbiotic. It's mutual. Help them win. Help them win. You help them win by knowing about them. Referrals. I work with other agents who refer me business. In the state of Minnesota, I work with other agents who do not want to cross into certain areas. I work with other agents who refer me business that don't want to deal or don't have the capacity to deal with the buyers they're working with. I have been a specialized buyer's agent where I've spent 100% of my time working with buyers. Is that a niche? Niche? What is it?
I think it's niche.
Okay. Owen's correcting me, you guys. But he didn't. He was very nice about it.
I don't know what it is. I want to be
Owen,
honest.
what's your disc? We'll get into that another day. So, I specialize with buyers. I have, so I've attracted other people in the industry that refer me business. In the industry that's licensed. I also, I can help challenging clients. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Jamie, you were killing this last year, and I'm sure you still are, but referrals. Where else can you get referrals?
Your lender, your lenders.
Yes. Are you still getting good return from your lender?
Not as well as I did last year.
Okay. Would anyone else on the call find this a helpful topic? Because Jamie, I want to talk to you about that because I'm sure, as you can imagine, being licensed for the past 9 to 11 years, somewhere in that range, I've experienced my up and downs of getting referrals from lenders. Okay. Would anyone else find it beneficial to talk about how to get in a joint business with a lender to get continuous referrals? Okay, Owen's shaking his head yes, so we're gonna go. Jamie, and the year that you got a lot of referrals, what type of referrals were they? And by that I mean, were they from somebody you've helped previously that used them? Were they from their sphere or were they walk-ins? Do you know?
They were from their like sphere, from their past clients that were now looking to buy, or family members of theirs looking to buy.
Okay, so from the lender sphere?
Correct.
Okay. And they were past clients of theirs and friends and family.
Correct.
Anyone else currently getting business from a lender? Gina?
I've gotten I haven't gotten any yet, but I actually just had a lender meeting this morning. I did lender meetings when I first started, but there's one I've been working with more and more, and we've been talking about collaborating on some things. That's what we met today to talk about. So I'm hoping in the next month or so to be collaborating on that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay. All of us get calls from lenders, right? All of us get calls from lenders. What do lenders want? Business. What do we want? Business. Okay. So this has been on my mind a little bit too, because I get a lot of referral business from my lenders. Why do you refer your lender? What about them makes you refer them? What do you do?
It's the job they do on getting the deals done and how they professionally act. They make us look good sometimes.
Yep. Make you look good. What else, guys?
I mean, my favorite thing about the lender I'm working with, this one, is that he is very personable with them and meets with them, especially first-time home buyers. He'll do, you know, an online meeting or in person. I think generally now people are doing online, but and he just connects with them along the way. Very informative, especially if they've been out of the game of buying for a while.
So when you hear your buyers talking about how they're connecting with them, how they're providing them options, and that makes you look good, right? When they solve a problem for you and they help you get a deal successfully to closing, is that a win or a loss? It's a win. Now, isn't it true that we all work with lenders who successfully get us to closing, but that we don't refer business to? Yeah. So what's the standout reason that makes them different? Is it that they're personable, professional, and that they make you look good? Because I just worked with a lender that got me successfully to closing on time. Great. I don't know that I'll use them again.
I think for me, it's the communication, and how easily and accessible they are.
All these stars you're rounding up. Okay, what else?
One of the features I love of my lender is that he also gives back at the end of closing too. He always lets the buyer choose where they get to donate some money to. So, and I think my clients tell me how much fun that is, and they love that. That's one.
Too. Did you just hear me, Gina? I was like, aw.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking you guys these questions is because in our business, we're going to work with lenders and we're going to work with other vendors in our industry. And if you create a relationship with them, a reciprocal relationship, are they going to fight for you to work with their people? They're going to fight for you to work for your people because of your professionalism, because you're going to make them look good, and because you're personable and connect. But even more so, you do that by communicating. You give back. If you want referrals, you do the things you want the vendors to do with you. You create an opportunity for them to work alongside of you to earn people's business. I would say my second best year ever, more than 50% of my business came from my lenders. And now we have a lot of repeat business. And I get a business from my title people. I get business from my insurance providers. I've been having conversations with other organizations and business owners about things that they'd be willing to offer to our clients as a benefit, discount, etc., that would promote their business and benefit our clients. What are they doing? They're referring you, they refer us business. When someone supports you, do you support them? Make it a win. You can get referrals. I think a big thing is referrals from past clients, yes, but there's other pieces in the business to pick up and grab that other people aren't taking advantage of. So, food for thought. I'm a little bit of my soapbox. Hold on, I'll get off. Was that helpful or not helpful?
Helpful.
Okay. I'm like, no one's gonna tell me no. There's not enough of them. They're like, she'll know. I unmuted and I told her it wasn't helpful. Okay, referrals. Gina, I would be curious in what you're doing with your lender that you think will be beneficial. If you want to share, you don't have to.
Yeah, no, I think we've talked about like even collaborating at open houses where he would come to while I'm doing an open house and talk with people coming in. creating some material that I'll have like in listing packets or that I can add into my own listing and packets and buying packets. So both sides, I guess. Yeah, just kind of some things like that. Maybe even an email we talked about, like for some of my, I'm trying to be better at marketing this year. That's one of my goals. So that was part of why I met with him, because I haven't been so great on that path. So.
Can I tell you what makes me excited? And one of the reasons I asked is a lender I used to do business with, he went a little quiet on me for a couple of years. And he's invited me back out to coffee, and what do they want? Business. Perfect. I want to give them business. I do. But I also have established relationships with other lenders I know, like, and trust. I still know, like, and trust this guy, so I want to give him business. To your point, I invited him as an opportunity to host some open houses with me. He jumped all over it. He was like, yep, I'll be there. It helps you because if the open houses are flooded, which I'm anticipating, can you talk to everybody that comes through? No. But if they're getting 2 pieces of materials that give them breakdowns on how they're lending, where did they come from, etc., who's that lender referring them back to? You.
Great.
There's so much value in getting into relationship with people who will do stuff with you. Open houses, I don't know about you, Gina, but sometimes when I host my open houses, I'm like, ooh, I get a little bit crawly on it because I'm alone in a vacant house with arrows pointing to where I'm going to be and for how long.
Great.
I have one more body in there with me. Somebody else. So there's multiple things that I think is beneficial. It helps them amplify their business as well as helps you stand out. So I love that. Thank you for masterminding with us. Okay, referrals. Anything else in referrals you guys want to touch on? You guys are like, we're only here because we want to hear how you got 50 offers accepted last year. That's it. Right? Okay, offers. Whew, anyone else need a break? Offers are my favorite. Okay, offers. I never wrote an offer, and I stand by this. I never wrote an offer that my buyers could not financially perform on. I'm going to say it again. I never wrote an offer where my buyers couldn't financially perform on. That meant that at times I can't change my buyer's financing, right? So if I'm working with a 3% down MHFA buyer, is that going to make it challenging in our market? Yeah. Yeah. And I got them under contract anyways. I've heard agents that use tricks where they write things that their buyers can't do. I mean, Alexis isn't here, but I'm sure she could tell us that you can't do that. That's ethically not okay. I never wrote an offer that my buyers could not financially perform on. I prepared them in the process of what to expect, what their offer would be like, what they're going to be up against. I prepared them to write 3 to 5 offers. So when we got the first house, what did they do, you guys? Woo! When I told them that we would look at 3 houses before they made a buying decision, but they would likely make that buying decision 3 to 6 times, what do you think they started to say? It's okay if we don't get this one. We know we can get the next one. Instead of, oh, so worn out, buying process is hard. I know, and I'm rocking and crying in the corner too, my friends. I hated calling buyers and telling them their offer wasn't accepted. Hated it. So I did all the things possible to make my offer stand out. Last year in my 50 offers, I had 4 offers that didn't have home inspections. 4, every other offer was accepted contingent on a home inspection. Of those 4 offers, 1 was new. Okay, back up, 5, 2 were new. Okay, 6, 3 were new. Now I'm like, whoa, hold on. I didn't count the new ones because they were new, okay? 2 of the sellers had performed home inspections. The other one, buyers were like, we don't, it's irrelevant to us to have one. They were at a point in life and a financial point that whatever was going on with the house, they could handle and take care of, and they didn't want to deal with it. Okay. Every other offer had a contingency of a home inspection. Now, how many of us heard that the only offers getting accepted were houses that didn't have a home inspection contingency? All of us, right? All of us heard that. You can't get an offer accepted unless it's all cash, there's no inspection contingency. I didn't work with 50 all cash buyers. Tell you what, I would have loved to, but I didn't. You leverage what you have. I'm going to say it again. You leverage what you have. I have a 5% down conventional home buyer. Cool. Not a lot of leverage. However, I have a 5% down conventional home buyer working with my lender who successfully gets the deals done, who's going to call that agent, talk about that. Oh, guess what? Hey, Jamie, it's Holly Stomberg with Keller Williams Select. I saw your listing on 123 Main Street. I just wanted to connect with you, and I know you're getting 152 calls today. I want to make this a smooth and successful process and make you look good in along the way. What is the best thing I can do in my offer? They tell you. It's not a trick. They tell you. And if they don't tell you, who cares? Write the offer you were going to write. If they tell you that the seller's nervous about getting out on time, what do? Write an offer where you don't take immediate possession and put in the language, we're not taking immediate possession, but we're going to do a final walkthrough and we're going to hold this much money back for damages. Oh my gosh, that seller is like, I don't have to be out at that time. Sometimes your biggest leverage is information. I think it's all the time. But when you don't have it, write a clean offer. Write a clean offer. If you don't know what a clean offer is, talk to somebody who does. Call me. I've not ever once, no, one time. Okay, now it's coming out. One time I've sold the listing. I know what other agents are looking for because I go and mastermind with them. I go talk to them. I was using things in my offers as sunset clause. Respond by this time, get a bonus. Do you know who I got that from? Another agent. Do you know that when I would do that, other agents would be like, that's a good tactic. I'm going to use that. Yes. Use your tools. Look at what other people in the industry are doing. If you have listings for sale, review their offers. What made you accept theirs? Call the agent afterwards. You don't get that house. How many people canceled last year? A lot. Be the next agent in line if you're not the first. Hey, Jamie, so sad we didn't get that house. My buyers are super bummed, but excited for you and your sellers. anything comes up, we'd love to be the first to know. Well, when 2 days later, Jamie gets a call that they're canceling, she's not sitting there panicked. She's like, oh, I'll call Holly. I'll call Holly. She'll solve my problem. Yep. And you'll solve mine. My negotiating style is different than most. And it's my biggest secret weapon. I'll give you a tip. I'm nice. And when I'm in a deal with another agent, I ask them what else they have coming on that fits my buyer's needs. And if I make it smooth and easy for them, do they want to work with me again? Yeah, they do. In fact, I've had agents I've worked with email me with upcoming listings and say, hey, do you have a buyer for this? You don't have to be aggressive to get your way. Now, I'll tell you a story. I have a buyer who did a home inspection. We found high levels of carbon monoxide leaking from the furnace. We found 2 active leaks, and we found a couple other things. That's enough to scare anybody, right? So we do take appropriate action. We make some requests for changes, and the seller submit a cancellation. Can a seller cancel during an inspection period? No. A seller cannot cancel during an inspection period. Seller submits a cancellation. I call Alexis and I'm like, girl. Okay, Alexis, if you're watching this, I probably didn't call you girl, but in my head, like we're real tight and this is how it goes in my head. I'm like, hey girl, this thing's happening. This is what I think I can do. Am I right? She's like, yeah, girl, you're right. I was like, thanks. I did actually say this part to her. I'm like, can you be in my hype squad? I just love knowing I'm right. And she said she would be. So call Alexis if you need a hype squad. So I verify I'm right. I tell that agent, look, we're not signing it. Thanks so much. We're moving forward. That agent calls me panicked 3 times, texts me 3 times. I did 4, text me 3, emails me 4 times. She's like, look, they want to cancel. Cool. We don't. I let her go, explain everything, and I said, thank you so much. My buyers have informed me that they do not wish to proceed with the cancellation, and we are moving forward. At the end of the conversation, do you think she was happy or upset? She laughed. She goes, this is a first. Let's get you to the closing then. You don't have to be mean. Even when you're right, you don't have to be mean. I probably saved myself from not ever being able to purchase one of her listings ever again. Hard lesson, not enjoyable, but I wasn't ever mean about it. Guys, if you have questions on sunset clause or anything like that, let me know. We can go through it later. How many of you would find it beneficial to see a little bit of give you a couple forms of lead generation I'm doing currently? Yeah?
Yep.
Owen's a yes. So if you're not a yes and we're fast approaching the end of our time, feel free to log off at any point. Okay. So lead generation. I love me buyers that I know, like, and trust. I love being referred to them. They're my favorite. And I love helping them. If you guys, whenever I'm feeling lulled or, what an interesting word. it's not niche. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so whenever I'm feeling low, kind of, you know, a little bit out, what are the words I'm looking for, Owen? Like if I'm lacking a hustle, right? Like I need to get, yeah, like a slowdown. It could be mental, it could be actual, whenever I'm feeling a slowdown. I look at houses. Look at them. Look at houses. Set a goal. Minimum, no joke, 100 per month. Set a plan. Get in houses. Do you know what it does? You're at that open, Gina, and you're hosting one, and you already know about the 4 other ones because you were in there. You already know about all the other ones in the surrounding neighborhood because you were in them. Whenever I'm feeling slow, a lull, a lack of hustle, I get in houses. I get in them anyways, but especially when I'm down. Down last year occurred for me frequently when I wasn't getting offers accepted. So I'm celebrating how many buyers I got in homes, but I'm not talking to you guys about what happened when I wasn't getting my offers accepted, right? I got in houses. Doing that helped me find more houses for my buyers. Looking at houses is also a form of lead gen because you might have talked to Greg and George and Sam and Sally, and they want a certain house, and you might have just seen it. You might have just walked into it, and you can tell them all about it. And in fact, you likely did a virtual tour of it and sent it to them. In fact, you likely are touring all your buyers' houses that show up in their search and sending them an electronic video so that they know what the house looks like, what it feels like. You can point out the deficiencies that aren't caught at a photo shoot. Lead gen, get into your houses. I've had some success with consistent and constant buyer seminars. This is an example of my buyer seminar. They all run a little different, similar to this class. I look to see what they want to get out of it, right? Like, what are you looking for? What do you want? We go through the mission. We go through the buying process. We talk about market conditions, what's going on there. We talk about what an agent does, right? What's true and false? What do people perceive? What's actual? We go through financing, true and false. Down payment, what do they require? Do you actually need to sell before you buy? Great question. Okay. Do you want buyers comfortable with submitting offers if you're showing them a house and they're ready to submit? How many houses have they seen online? A lot. We go through what to expect with showings. We talk about the home inspections, what to expect, how we're going to help them through that. We talk about what to do post-home inspection. Closings take forever. What's the closing timeline? Does it take a full day? When do you close? Now, I've only been hosting these virtually. They're a nice warm introduction to buyers you meet at open houses as a way to get, if they've gone a little stale. I turned quite a few old open house leads by having a buyer presentation, a quick little seminar. I do them in 30 minutes. I have partnered with lenders on this previously. I just switched that this year to not partnering with them. I still would, by the way, I did it for different reasons, but I still would. So look at houses. I do opens I'm doing 2 this weekend. Buyer seminars. And I follow up with my past clients. And I network with out-of-state agents and in-state agents. When I call the agents to get information, we're humans, right? And we all go through different things, and we've all been through things. And so when I called agents to get information, I found out that family members are in the hospital. I found out that they're struggling with different things at their point in time in life. And if they know they're going to have an agent on the other side that isn't going to add to the challenges that they're already going through, you can build rapport. And it's a small industry. So build relationships. We have another local agent that refers us a ton of business that out in Wisconsin, we're licensed in Wisconsin, they're not. He refers us a ton of business because of how we do our business. Be the professional, be the one that communicates, be the one that makes it look easy so that you're getting referrals from all the sources. You guys, I feel like we're 3 minutes over. I'm going to be respectful of your time. This is a little different than last time, huh, Jamie?
Yes, it is.
I was like, she's saying yes, you guys. I know it feels different for me. The market's a little different too. Do you guys have any questions about things we didn't go through or things we did go through? Is there anything I can send you that would be helpful or beneficial?
Can you explain how you put in there that you're gonna hold cash back for damages? Like if they don't take immediate possession?
Yeah, that was confusing to me too. How do you write that in exactly? Because I've been in situations like that too, where I'm not sure how I would do that.
I would talk to Alexis to make sure you do it right, but like, I've done a couple of rent backs and then we just hold, some people will say like, we're not gonna ask them for any money for a damage deposit because we want it to be lucrative for the seller, put in an amount. You can use similar language, or at least I would, similar language in asking them for when you're doing a couple, like a 24 or 48 hour hold. Does that make sense?
No, 24, 48 hold, what do you mean?
Like if you're not closing right away.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I wish I would have called Alexis this summer. I had a situation like that too, but the realtor was very against any kind of buybacks. He was like, I don't do that. I'll never do that. Like, so that was his, even though I think his clients were maybe open to it, but he was not personally as a realtor. Have you come across that before?
Yeah. And so when everyone was having issues with, I say everyone, but that's extreme. So similarly to home inspections, one of the ways that I get agreement is I explain to them how it's a benefit for them. So in the buyback, depending on the situation, and if you're privy to it, so let's say, like I just had quite literally last week, I had a seller that was buying and she was due within 3 days of the closing. So they wanted delayed possession because she didn't know if the baby was going to be there, not be there. They didn't know how quickly they could vacate the house. So when you know the situation, you can use it to your benefit and theirs, right? So what in that situation, they were like, hey, could we do a 48-hour delayed possession? We'll clear this all out. If it's not all cleared out, here's what we'll do. Like we'll have you got junk come, we'll have a cleaner, like have a backup plan for what it is. Most of the time, in my experience, a lot of issues come when you do when you do like a rent back or delayed possession. And so that's why you experience agents who are like, ah, because you think they're gonna trash it. So in mine, I was trying to pull it. Gina, shoot me your email and I'll send you one that I got.
Okay,
I had a seller who wanted it and he drafted up how he wanted it to read. And
basically you're writing up a new agreement then of how we're gonna leave the house is what you're gonna do. So would this be just between, how would you, like, would this be an addendum then to everything or no? Because you're pretty,
well, if you didn't agree to delayed possession when you submitted the offer, then you would do an amendment to the purchase agreement. But if you're agreeing to delayed possession when you're submitting the offer as part of your offer terms, it would be an addendum because you're going to add it to the purchase agreement.
okay,
You also have to be conscientious of lender restrictions and rules on that.
okay, gotcha. So you took a good question to ask your lender before you do it.
Depending on the duration.
Okay,
Depending on the duration, because you would want to make, you want to make sure you're not creating an obstacle in the end.
gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
But what I find is when agents are usually violently or vehemently opposed to something, they require more information on why it would be an asset to them.
Okay.
So a lot of my inspections, I would have a preemptive conversation of why it would serve their sellers and how it protected their sellers.
Gotcha. Okay.
Similar, just switch the narrative on them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Because it is more of a benefit to a seller to have a delayed possession than a buyer.
Right. Yeah, that was the situation I was in. It was my seller who would like it, and then the buyers did not want to do that, or the buyer's agent did not want to do that. And so it just created, it was one of those where, the same day stuff, and it was just confusing and trying to get everything to work.
Well, and for buyers, like I think of how many houses I've gone into and sellers are still in the process of moving out.
Right.
Well,
Right.
let's make everyone look good and have everyone be out of the house, or at least manage that expectation.
Right.
So sometimes they only need 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different conversation. So if you shoot me your email, I'll send you what I have. I don't know that would be helpful, but I would absolutely, we have the best broker there is, and she'll be part of your hype squad. So ask her too.
Okay. No, I will do.
Any other questions, you guys? If there was something else you were hoping to get from today's class that you didn't get.
What are you seeing for like offers like over asking price?
Oh my gosh, Jamie, I am
Sorry.
no.
Yeah,
So my rule of thumb on 300,000 is 10%. It was all of last year. Your floor was 10% over. Always. I honestly believe, or I saw the most challenging price point being between 500,000 and 800,000. Those buyers have money. They're buying cash. Those are the buyers that are waiving inspection because it actually doesn't matter, because they have the financial means to make repairs. Your buyers that are so my buyers that either top end was like 550, 600, they could not, they struggled with competing with those that had cash. My higher end buyers struggled with knowing that their offer would not be negotiated down. But I would say 10%, right in November and December for a hot minute, we're like, oh my gosh, properties come on the market. Like, right? We all cheered. And we're like, look at it sitting there for 4 days, suckers. And then how many of you have noticed our coming soons disappear? We're back to that. We're back to that. So Jamie, it's a little different, I think, based on price point. I'll pre-look at comparables to see, There was a house last year, we wrote $100,000 over, and we did a full appraisal guarantee on it, and we didn't win. They priced it that way, so I could have an active dialogue with my buyers of, hey, it's substantially underpriced. I think it varies based on your location, but at least in my opinion, in your $300,000 price point, you're a minimum of 10% above. Minimum, that's your floor. Anything that's been on the market for 4 days, write an offer and ask for closing costs. Maybe not. That was my strategy, and it worked. Because sellers think it will be gone. There's this unique little window that you get where you can totally flip your buyer from being in a seller's market into a buyer's market. And when you nail that window just perfect, you come out looking like you wear a cape. And I know you all do. Watch those. There's, again, I think your price point will drive that, but 10%.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, you guys.
Thank you.
If you need anything, let me know. Gina, I'll send you what I have and what I was able to use that I found helpful and successful. And
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you.
you're so welcome.
Great class. Thank you.
My pleasure. All right, guys, if you need anything, have questions, if you want anything that I presented or any additional information, I'm at holly@successfulteam.com. Feel free to reach out. Okay, I'll add it to the chat before I jump off here.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It's so good to see you, Jamie.
I was planning on coming in, but I have a sick kid, so
Oh, isn't that just how it is right now? Like that?
yes.
Oh, yay. All right. Well, if you need anything, you know where I'm at.
Thanks, Holly.
Thanks, guys. Bye.